That cute little miss who the boys love to kiss. Whenever I let them, that is. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. And the show, as you know, is Movie Macabre. And hey, welcome back to it. This time around, we've got one for you called Screamers. Actually, they didn't have a name for this picture when it first came out. Came up with the name Screamers after the first time they ran it for a paying audience. They screamed to get their money back. But you gotta know that's just the kind of movie we like here on the show. And we'll get right to it after these words from the folks who pay the bills. You're watching Screamers on Movie Macabre. Oh, yippee, a slime picture. Oh, I just love a good slime picture. Them creatures in that cave kind of reminded me of the way my eggs came out this morning. Runny. Hey, is it just my imagination, or was that the smokiest beach around? I mean, I know the locale's supposed to be the Caribbean, but it looks more like they filmed this turkey down by the refinery in El Segundo. And so far, the dialogue hasn't been what you call awe-inspiring. It's consisted of a bunch of people going around calling out each other's names.
Samantha?
James?
Patterson?
James?
Samantha?
Oh, God, what's next? Zip codes? Boy, just before they got off that boat, they all looked at each other and said, okay, nobody dies. It's too bad they forgot to touch wood. Now that everybody's had their heads ripped off, I just don't have a clue where the picture goes from here. But I guess we'll find out as Screamers continues on Movie Macabre. Hey, what about Francois? You guys just gonna leave him bobbing around out there in that swamp like that? Don't you know you're supposed to clean up the campgrounds for the next boatload of prisoners who get marooned? Oh, you show some consideration, why don't you? You know, it's like they sent this movie out for a plot transplant, and it came back with a whole new story. Only now they're using their heads about it. Instead of having everybody killed off in 10 minutes like they did the first time, they're gonna spread it out a little bit. You know, there's something I could never figure out with these movies. Now, why is it that whenever somebody sees a big, old, ugly hand coming up out of the muck, they just stand there looking dumbfounded? I mean, don't just stand there doing a golly like Gomer Pyle. Get the heck out of there! Ham scrape! Beat it! Go! Oh, that's modesty for you. I am the absolute master. End of report. Big deal. He doesn't even have his own TV show like I do, does he? And did I catch his name right? Is it really Edmund Rackham? I mean, what kind of a name is Rackham? Where was he born? In some doggone pool hall? Okay, Rackham! And who taught him how to pronounce the word Haiti? How'd he say it? Haiti? Sounded like he had popcorn stuck to the roof of his mouth. It's Haiti, fella. Just plain Haiti. You know, there is something I don't understand.
What don't you understand?
I was getting to that, sister. Sheesh. What I don't understand is what that stuff at the beginning of the picture has to do with what's going on. Oh, sure, I made a crack about the movie getting a plot transplant, but I still thought it was the same picture. Now I'm starting to wonder if we didn't get some of the reels of film mixed up. I mean, how could that happen? Even here at Channel 9. Oh, well, on second thought. Yeah, she got that part right about him being clawed. He was darn near clawed to death. Oh, it was a lucky thing for him that she came along like that when she did, and that she's on such friendly terms with them hokey-looking zipper monsters from the deep. Why, she has them eaten right out of her hand. Maybe I should say drinking. And they're drinking out of their own darn hands. Boy, it would have been a lot less messy if she just remembered to bring along some straws. If they're gonna drink liquids out of their cupped hands like that, there's a little trick they might want to try. It's called keeping your fingers together. Try it. Screamers continues after this. Boy, I don't know who has the uglier hands, them monsters or Joseph Cotton. Joe, keep those bandages on, okay? Well, I'll tell you something. He is a pretty lucky guy. You don't often find a doctor who makes island calls.
What on earth are you talking about?
Beats me, honey. I just read 'em off the teleprompter and don't ask questions. Oh, it ain't easy being the mistress of the dark, you know. Honey, I'm afraid it's already too late. And wipe that toothpaste off your chin. What you want to do is rinse your mouth out after brushing your teeth, and then you won't drool like that. Well, this movie's got a little something for everybody, don't it? You got your voodoo rituals, and you got your sunken treasure, your lost continent of Atlantic City, and your exploding volcanoes, and a bunch of creatures called God knows what. Boy, I can just see the writer when he went in to pitch this story. Oh, yeah, man, and then there's this spaceship lands, and then in the middle of a field, you know, and these little evil kids come out, and they have tattoos on their foreheads, and they start a nuclear war, and then they like... Hey, that kind of reminds me of that old college stunt, you know, where the kids all go down to the laundromat and get inside the dryer. Only Claude just made the mistake of getting inside the washer. Well, it's Saturday night, and he can use the bath, right? Oh, unless you're watching on Sunday afternoon, and then he should be out waxing the car or something. Something I'd like to know is how Claude was able to recognize Jose the way he did. Why, that didn't look any more like Jose than my old pal Breather looks like Tom Selleck. As a matter of fact, that thing looked more like Breather than it did Jose. Claude must have been able to tell by the burrito on Jose's breath, I guess. Oh well, there's more in store as Screamers continues on Movie Macabre. Well, it looks like Rackham went overboard just like the movie. And I wonder if he got hazard pay for doing this fight scene. Now that has gotta smart. No wonder he went home with tears in his eyes. And now Claude and the chick had better get off that island fast before that stock footage of the volcano gets them. You know a picture's rotten when the best part of it is stock footage. Looks like outtakes of the Mount St. Helens story. Okie doke, the exciting and long-awaited conclusion to Screamers is coming up. Stay glued. Oh, what a finish. How romantic. They should have called it Creatures from the Blue Lagoon. Actually, the whole thing was just one big fish story. As a matter of fact, one of them creatures was even named Gil. Yeah, golly. Well, that's about a wrap on Movie Macabre for this time around. If you like Screamers, you are gonna love the one we have for you next week.
If the brain hadn't been damaged, my work would have been hailed as the greatest scientific achievement of all time. Frankenstein would have been accepted as a genius of science. Instead, he was sent to the guillotine. I swore I would have my revenge. They will never be rid of me. This is something I am proud of.
That's right. It's the Revenge of Frankenstein. Next time out here on good old Movie Macabre. I'll be looking for you then. And until then, what can I say after I say unpleasant dreams?